For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, nasty surprises, or price changes along the way, we're committed to quality, affordability, and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Wait up!
Is everyone ready to play?
I think the people involved, you get to meet a lot of people in football, and that's just one of the great things. Not only is the sport great, but the people involved, so fellow referees, players, coaches, even fans. I love officiating because it keeps me involved in football. I was a player, but I don't reckon I could cut it out there anymore, at least at any decent level. But as a referee, I get to be involved in higher levels of football. Keeps me involved, keeps me fit, and is great fun. I think I have a moment of this is why I do this every week. It's always good fun to get out there, and there are tough moments, but being resilient and succeeding, even just in the little things throughout a match. I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn, and as a referee you'll surely come across a lot of them, and I certainly have. I reckon give it a go. You will face challenges, but that's a part of it, and I think embracing challenges is such an important skill to learn.
At Service FM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need Service FM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings, Tom Wren for sport, Jade Robran on the scene as it happens, Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide, Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Welcome to the first night of the HBG Home State League 1 final series between Adelaide Olympic and Adelaide Atletico at L3 Football Stadium, live on the FSA League's YouTube channel. It's Adelaide Olympic who come into this games with their full sights set on a successful finals campaign after a heartbreaking loss last week, which saw Adelaide Croatia Raiders prevail as the first side through to the RAA NPLSA for next season. As for the travelling side, Adelaide Atletico, if we went back to November 2024 when they merged with Adelaide Victory and then were established as one, we may not have thought a HBG Home State League 1 finals berth would have been on the cards. But here we are tonight as the two sides will battle it out, looking to progress one step closer to top flight football in South Australia. I'm Anton Violi and I look forward to guiding you through all the action tonight, while it's joined by a special guest in Simon Jimenez. Simon, good evening and welcome to finals football.
I love how they started playing AC/DC's Thunderstruck right as you started calling. We just need that in life to emphasise our point. But really looking forward to this one after the tight result last week that Olympic put in. Obviously Adelaide Atletico just sneaking in. It's going to be a really exciting match. That's all right, don't let Marcos Flores distract you.
Definitely not this time, but we're ready here at L3 Football Stadium for finals football in the HBG Home State League 1 between Adelaide Olympic and Adelaide Atletico. But as you were saying, Simon, both sides, such crucial games last week. For Adelaide Olympic, the promotion was on the line to the RAA NPLSA. As for Adelaide Atletico, it was more, it was win or go bust and hope a few results go their way. And here they are on Friday night.
Yeah, and the most recent result between these two teams just a few weeks ago ended up just being a 1-0 affair, so a very, very close one in that game as well. So even given the ladder position, given that Olympic were obviously playing to potentially win the title last week, and that Adelaide Atletico were just trying to sneak in, they match up very closely together. So now really looking forward to this. Obviously it's nice for the HBG Home State League 1 to get a bit of a spotlight on a Friday night as well. Obviously we've got the two RAA NPLSA finals that are happening tomorrow. We've got the playoff in the Apex Steel WSL WNPL promotion playoff too. And of course the WNPL games happening there as well, the double header at Service FM Stadium. So yeah, this standalone fixture on a Friday night. And just given the atmosphere here tonight as well, I really wouldn't mind Adelaide Olympic being back up in the top flight, because it's a very nice commentary position here as well.
Rolls-Royce scaffold, as you described it when we rocked up, hey Simon. But if there's no short of class here tonight, both sides did occupy first and second place in the HBG Home State League 1 at the conclusion of round 13, believe it or not. Adelaide Atletico were sitting in top spot, but Adelaide Olympic have just been battling. They've been battling at second place for a while now. Round 16 they've been sitting second for, and now they've slid to third as we look to have a minute's silence for a moment. There you go, both sides are ready as kickoff is very close now. We'll run us through the sides tonight, but starting with the man in the middle, Tom Brinkworth. He'll be assisted by Dion Turner and Luca Costello, with Dennis Palisage as the fourth official tonight. And we'll quickly go through the home side for Adelaide Olympic. We've got number 1, Lewis Cleland in goals. Their captain, number 3, Rasto Lujic. Number 5, Daniel Kikianis. Number 6, Marco Grelli. Number 7, Ethan Nasu. Number 9, Harry Selenis. Number 10, Ricky De Silva. Number 11, Luis Lobo. Number 14, Jordan Pudler. Number 15, Peter Katsambas. And number 23 in Perry Mitras. I will go through the Adelaide Atletico lineup very shortly, but we're about to kick off here at L3 Football Stadium for the HBG Homes Finals, elimination final between Adelaide Olympic and Adelaide Atletico. And we are underway here as the captain Sebastian Rapuano gets us underway here as Olympic will have to sit back for the time being. Adelaide Atletico come into this game underdogs today, but they'll certainly look to spark a real surprise. They've got finals experience already, getting promoted from State League 2 last season. They did have to go the long way around, finishing third in that last year, the State League 2 North that was. And who would have thought they'd be here tonight? Simon.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty incredible that now they're playing for the opportunity to go for back-to-back promotions. It's a little bit of a contrast from where Adelaide Olympic are because, you know, they've had that 1 year out of the NPL and hoping to go straight back. Well, 2 years, I guess, because it's the end of 2024 that they came out. So they're looking to put in a charge. So I guess it's a team that's sort of expecting to get promotion versus one that it'd be a little bit of a dream to accept it.
It certainly is. De Silva throws it in as the ball is going to trickle all the way through to goalkeeper Alex Tate. Played in all but one game this year. The one game he did miss, coincidentally, was here at L3 Football Stadium, where Adelaide Atletico did prevail 1-0 winners against Adelaide Olympic to spoil the party for Perry Mitras on his 400th game. The ball's put out for a goal kick in the meantime. Can run us through that Adelaide Atletico side now. Number 2, Lucas Darginio. Number 4, Massimo Kayaza. Number 6, Soshi Tateshi. Number 8, Hinata Kojim. Number 10, and their captain, Sebastian Rapuano. Number 16, Ethan Allison. Number 21, Nicholas Morn. Number 23, Donato Kayaza. Number 27, Damien Francisca. And number 66, Pablo Correa. We're seeing early Adelaide Olympic looking to play out from the back. I suspect we will see quite a bit of that throughout this 90 minutes tonight. Ball's held up in possession there.
Just to add to that lineup news, a little bit of a surprise for Adelaide Olympic with Ali Aquil starting on the bench. So he played out the full 90 last week, and so it's a little bit of a surprise that he's going to be starting. And we've had the 2 changes to Adelaide Atletico at the start of this as well.
I did get the news on Ali Aquil this morning, actually, that he was feeling quite ill. He has started in every game this year as well, but Luis Lobo will come in with that experience and take his place. And here come Olympic through Kitsambas. They're lost already. Jumping forward into the ball. And that was Rapuano who was on the ball. Just his touch was a little bit too wide. And that one's going to be out for a throw-in deep in the Adelaide Olympic defence.
And a little bit of an interesting one for Adelaide Atletico for me. One of the 2 changes was Isaac Ulegio. So he's out completely. He's not even on the 7-man bench tonight too. So a little bit of a surprise on either side tonight.
We've brought 2 defenders in, have Adelaide Atletico, a fullback and a centre-back in Nicholas Morn and Ethan Allison. Ball's out on the far side, and here is Luis Lobo, the replacement of the leading marksman for Adelaide Olympic, in Aquil that is. Back to Kikianis. De Silva. They'll certainly look to find De Silva quite a bit on the ball. Likes to drift into a few pockets of space, and then he'll let his feet do the magic.
I had to chuckle there because he was getting a little bit lippy already. He's letting Lucas D'Argenio. I'm not sure what he's saying to him, but he's sharing something important with him.
It's like, this is my home. It's like, I won a Federation Cup final on this very ground back in 2019 with Adelaide Olympic, where they beat Adelaide City. It's the ball sent over the top. How's Kikianis? He's unable to read there, and Francisca couldn't quite come out of that one on top, as Kikianis does well to find Puddler in the middle. Back to Pablo Correa. And here is Ethan Allison, who has come into this side starting at centre-back. Driving forward to Atletico now. There's Rapuano, nice little turn. Can he get a shot off on his left foot? Doesn't. In the meantime, there's a foul And it's Marco Grelli on the floor for the time being. Adelaide Olympic will now have a moment to reset. As Cleland will stand over the ball and reset again to his captain in Rasto Lujic. Primarily a fullback, Simon. Had to adapt to centre-back conditions this season, and 23-year-old is doing a very good job at it with that Olympic defence.
Yeah, I mean, they did really well for 85 minutes against Raiders, not conceding until that very late stage last week. So, risen to the occasion.
Certainly it was Salafu Jato who found the back of the net in the 85th minute. This time it's Olympic going forward and sliding in. Well, it's Allison. And a bit of a roar there. So there are a few travelling supporters in Adelaide Atletico.
And I'd expect nothing less, to be honest. I know they're a nice vocal bunch, which is good. And I'm really impressed with the home crowd here tonight as well. I counted 8 Greek flags walking past before. Kids of all nationalities holding them as well, and they've gathered behind the goals there. You can see that when the camera pans in that direction. So, yeah, like I said, it's been a couple of years that they've been out of the NPL, which means it's not a ground that we've been able to commentate as much recently. Of course, we're here last week for that playoff for first place, but really glad to be back here, and Friday night's a perfect occasion for it.
Certainly. Well, they did go down in 2024 with South Adelaide, who have now gone all the way down. They went through a bit of a rebuild process, have Adelaide Olympic. Now they've found that good match between the youngsters and the more experienced. Like, they've got the names of Perry Mitras, Ricky De Silva, Jared Brazali, and there's a few more. Jordan Puller might be one of them as well. And then they've got some youngsters coming through the ranks as well. Here's one of them on the ball, Daniel Kikianis. They've got 2 West Adelaide midfielders in Grelli and Nasu as well. So they've certainly found that balance, and it's a side that, come a couple of years' time, if they are to go up soon, they'll definitely be a real threat in the RAA NPLSA.
It looks like they weathered the little bit of the early storm from Adelaide Atletico as well, and now just controlling things well.
Yeah, they are. They will be happy to take control of the game and hold possession and patiently build up forward. Nice bit of skill there from Lewis Lobo. This ball goes back to Lujic. Might have a bit of space to move forward. As the ball comes out to the near side, and driving forward is Harry Selenis. Elects not to cross as he's met. There's Pudler. Kikianis goes out wide. I do think, as Rapuano there looked to dispossess Lujic, wasn't too happy with that. Bit of an appeal off the ball as well, as both captains go toe-to-toe there. Kikianis goes well to find Selenis, and that's out for a throw-in for Adelaide Atletico, and that breaks about the 2-minute drought where Adelaide Olympic did hold possession for. This is a second ball on the field, which will halt play momentarily.
We're in a really interesting commentary position there, because we've got a 4th official tonight being finals and on the same side of the 2 benches. So if we do go quiet, it's because we're listening in really intently to the 2 benches. At the moment, Marcos Flores is giving plenty instruction over the last couple of minutes. Adelaide Olympic have just been really controlling things, and we're curious to see how Adelaide Atletico respond in that instance. Maybe just a little bit rush and trying to play it forward, and now it's Olympic on the counter.
As Mitras is forced to retreat back to Grelli. And he's happy to take his time and casually stroll it forward. Look to find Selenis on this near side a couple of times in transition to attack. Have Olympic, and Kikianis goes out wide to Mitras. A nice little header. Just wasn't weighted enough to find Lewis Lobo. But it is a throw-in for Adelaide Olympic. And a gesture there. It looks like we are going to have to see a very early substitute, Simon, as the bench for Adelaide Atletico are sent to go warm up.
Just having a look at that. Whatever the incident was there, didn't look like a clash. It looks like haven't even been able to see the number of the player that went down. You may have a bit of a better view of that home if you rewind on FSA leagues, but a little bit concerning that the player just went down a few moments after.
He had to get up as well. He is back on his feet. I think it may be Nicholas Morn. It is. So the youngster who came into the side, starting at right back, is currently going to take a moment off the ground until he can be assessed and potentially rejoin. Fingers crossed he is able to join.
Yeah, he only came on in the 72nd minute last week, so played that last 20 minutes or so, but we think a little bit early to have any cramps, so he's just taken the long walk back to the bench, so that's a little bit concerning initially. And they are getting a sub ready as well.
Moment they're going to have to defend with 10 men to Adelaide Atletico and try to absorb that pressure as the ball's sent forward to Francesca, but Cleland's out to meet.
And the sub is getting ready to come on. Anthony Lanzotti, who was he a late inclusion? Because I haven't got him written down on the team sheet here. So
he's just looking at my notes as well, and I haven't got him either. So
yeah,
very late inclusion, but he's going to come on for Nicholas Morn into that fullback position, I dare say. For the meantime, it's Seb Rapuanu covering that right back as Francesca has pushed himself forward.
He has been playing plenty of football. Just looking at his stats, started and played in both round 21 and round 20. So of course missed last week. He wasn't on the team sheet then, but he'll come on a lot earlier than anticipated tonight.
How's your nerve? What a time to come on. Just 12 minutes gone in this HBG Homes State League 1 elimination final between 3rd place and 6th place sides. It is Adelaide Olympic who have been on top for the time being. As we did discuss, coming into this game, favourites, and Cleland was happy to wait for the pressure of Francesca. And now Atletico a bit fed up and have opted to press as the ball's sent long looking for Kit Sambas, and there is that man Ricky De Silva who goes to the ground and he's on his side of foul, much to the disgust of the Atletico bench.
I thought for a moment like Massimo Cauza may have got away with that. There was a clear push there, but just a little bit of hesitation before Tom Brinkworth blew the whistle. Ricardo De Silva's taking his time to get up at the moment. He's holding the wrist, but a player of his experience, I'd imagine he'll be just making it known that challenge was felt, and maybe just giving Tom Brinkworth a little bit of a heads up that that's something to watch. Meanwhile, the benches that we spoke about before in voice as well, Marcos Flores exchanging words with another experienced head in Jordan Pudler.
It might be a dangerous time here for Atletico. There's some height, and Ricky De Silva is one of them for Olympic as the ball is swung in by Kasambis. It's out for a goal kick. Tom Brinkworth, as the referee, probably wouldn't be showing too many nerves tonight. He's been there, done that. Been on the line in the A-Leagues, I do believe. And he was that centre referee for that FK Beograd versus North Sunshine Eagles in that Australia Cup round of 32 clash.
He was involved with the Oz Champs at the end of last year as well, so one of the more experienced guys that we've got in our local competition.
Despite being quite young as well. As Atletico look to get things going really quickly through Lucas D'Argenio.
I'm really going to be watching the matchup between De Silva and Cauza going forward, because after that challenge there, it was interesting that Massimo Cauza was De Silva's marker and he's just gone back to him again, so that's just one thing I'm really looking forward to watching in the corner of my eye tonight.
He was unable to retrieve the ball on that occasion. Donato Kayatsa coming in through the reserves this season. His brother a little bit more experienced in Massimo Kayatsa, so two brothers on the pitch for Adelaide Atletico tonight. I'm sure maybe a proud moment for the two of them to share the field of play. Olympic now most likely look to retain possession, and that actually went through the legs of Francesco there. So maybe a bit of a let off there for Adelaide Olympic as De Silva looked to lay it off for Pudler. And here he is now with a bit of space. Looks to go on the outside of the boot to Katsambas, who was held up. Very well done there by Pablo Correa. There's Kojim. The ball's met by Rapuano and back in possession of Kojim. Darginho looks to penetrate forward, looking for that ball over the top, and the experience there of captain Ratko Lucic able to head it back to Lewis Cleland in goals.
It was a bit of a vague ball forward for Adelaide Atletico. It didn't look like the sub in Lanzotti was ever going to get to it, but it's interesting to see. I'm going to come back to that.
Oh, that ball is over the top and it's taken around the goalkeeper by Katsambas. Faint cry for a penalty. A bit of a nervy moment there for Alex Tate.
I think the biggest cry for the pen probably came from those young supporters behind the goals, to be fair, but perhaps got away with one there. But it's been interesting to watch Adelaide Athletic, how they've responded. There was maybe a bit of a 5-minute period there where Adelaide Olympic just seemed really content to just slowly push up from the back, really hold possession, and looks like Adelaide Atletico just don't mind causing a little bit of chaos to them, and they have sort of disrupted the momentum of Adelaide Olympic. They just got to create some opportunities now, though.
Here's Kayatsa retreating back to his brother Massimo Kayatsa. Andrew Shaw, head coach for Adelaide Atletico as well, leading him through to the final series. Ball's met there by Darginho. Once again, a ball over the top that finds its way into the hands of the Olympic goalkeeper.
A little bit wasteful again from Adelaide Atletico there. I think maybe just being a little bit desperate and trying to play the ball forward, but there wasn't anyone close in that instance, so just gives a chance for Adelaide Olympic to again build up from the back with patience.
Yeah, they do coming forward this time with a bit of intent. It's Pudler who finds Selenis. Gone wide to Luis Lobo. I've definitely seen the party tricks from him already a few times tonight as De Silva looked to body his way through. Doesn't then. Tatishi goes wide as Atletico will look to break this time on that far side. Driving forward still, and the pass just wasn't there, unfortunately. And now they're going to have to drop back and reset to Adelaide Atletico. Silva plenty of space as he looks to target over the top, looking for Lobo. Does appear that Luis Lobo's swapped wings already. Started on the left side, is on the right side now. So I do reckon he has swapped with Peter Katsambas, who almost sounded himself through on goal in what you could say was the biggest chance of the game so far. And Lucic goes in really heavily there on Soshi Tatishi.
Yeah, just on the topic of those two wingers or respective midfielders just switching sides, we've already seen how well they've used their width, Adelaide Olympic, so always a big fan of that. But then they just switch their personnel just to create a little bit of confusion. I guess with Adelaide Olympic's patient build-up that they've shown already, it just adds a little bit more unpredictability to their approach.
The ball is placed down from Pablo Correa.
Damien Francesca just went back to the bench to have a few words, so I wonder if that might have to do with just how they're switching things up at the front following that change.
He really hasn't looked out of place since coming from the reserves as Francesca. 3 goals in 3 starts for the young striker. That one's off as a boot. Rapuano looks like he's going to contest with Mitris. Falls back to Pablo Correa. does look to unleash a shot. Bit of a nothing shot, most likely, as Olympic looked to come forward, and De Silva uses his experience to hold it up. To Lobo. Lobo retreats back to Kikianis. Goes back to his captain in Lucic. And now they're on the other side. Adelaide Olympic.
Just watching that player rotation for Adelaide Olympic, because now it's De Silva that's on the right-hand side, and Puddler's just gone a little bit more central. He's sitting like in a number 10 position at the moment, so that's something that we'll continue to watch tonight, just how they continue to rotate.
Here come Atletico driving forward. It's going to be Tatishi, who's met by Lucic. He looks to switch the play over to Sambis, who's dispossessed there by Koijum. Here is Tate on the ball. Plays through Allison. And now it's Adelaide Atletico's turn to hopefully hold up a bit of possession.
The concern at the moment for me for Adelaide Atletico is just the lack of really creating any opportunity so far. It is still early days, only just ticked over the 20-minute mark, but even from Adelaide Olympic, I guess nothing too convincing, but for Adelaide Atletico, it's just looked a little bit reactive and just loose balls forward, and we saw a vague shot from well outside the 18-yard box, and if that's the opportunities that they're going to be creating, I don't think it's going to be enough against Adelaide Olympic, so it's going to be interesting just to watch how they do adjust.
They've only conceded the 17 goals this year, have Adelaide Olympic. On the last occasion these two teams did meet, they were able to hold Atletico to a clean sheet. It's almost like they're trying to create something from nothing in this game. They need to probably take a bit more of a hold on the game and just play with confidence.
That stat you just brought up about the goals conceded is an interesting one, because I'm comparing it to how the RAA NPLSA has been this year, and that top six been a lot more varied up. I can't recall off the top of my head how Croydon are looking in sixth spot, but I can say almost just anecdotally, I think they've conceded a lot more than that, but it shows the quality of State League One and how close it's been this year.
It has been very close and right to the very round. And here's De Silva. Doesn't elect to turn. Here's Puddler waiting. There is Puddler on the ball. Play back to De Silva. De Silva floats it in. Maybe a bit of a deflection. And meeting at the back post, and it's 1-0 for Adelaide Olympic. And it's Peter Kasambis. He has the opener in this elimination final. And the Greek flags are in full flight now. And it was that man, Ricky De Silva. As we did say earlier, Simon, he'll look to find his space, and on that occasion, he'll let his feet do the talking, and he found Peter Katsambis at the back post.
Well, I was saying just before that we hadn't seen any real clear opportunities for Adelaide Olympic either, but we had seen them controlling things, and they're just being rewarded for that patient build-up that they've been showing. And Katsambis makes it his fifth in regular competition this year.
There you go, and Adelaide Olympic, they have a real grip on this game. It's going to be very interesting to see how Adelaide Atletico do react. They probably won't be able to play the current game style they have been playing now, going down 1-0. They're actually going to have to push and try to create something. Still plenty of time, obviously. Or might Olympic take the momentum and look to potentially put maybe another goal or two before the half?
Yeah, now's a real chance for them to punish Adelaide Atletico. And of course, if you just joined us, there was that early substitution made for Atletico. I can't recall when exactly it was. It was about the 10th or 12th minute that they were forced to make the change. Seemingly a late inclusion to the bench coming on.
Now here is their captain, Rapiano, drives forward, gets a shot off with his right foot. It was off the outside of his boot, and Lewis Cleland's able there to meet it, diving to his bottom right. As he resets.
We'll try to respond quickly, but again, maybe just a little bit more wild and, I guess, reactive, as has been with the small little bits of opportunity we've seen from Adelaide Atletico so far.
And with the way we did discuss the ever so solid defence for Adelaide Olympic. And errors, they're going to be few and far between, aren't they? And here comes Pudler driving through. He had Selenis on his right. Off the boot. And it's all the way back to Kikianis. Olympic very happy to play through their young centre-back in Daniel Kikianis. Quite a similar player to his brother in Pana Kikianis, playing for the A-League men's side, Adelaide United.
For now. Does he stick around? There was the rumours, of course, that he was going to be on the move.
Guess we'll find out in due course, won't we, Simon? But for now, I'm sure he's got his sights set on hopefully a successful season with Adelaide United. It hasn't quite been the start that they would have liked, but see how we go. But in the meantime, focus is here as Selenis is driving forward and maybe a bit of a lash back heel. Doesn't really come to anything. And Kikianis does well to let that one float through, and Lucic goes all the way back to his keeper. Again, that header back to Cleveland didn't look as comfortable as the first one we saw tonight.
Yeah, it's the first couple little slip-ups we've seen from Adelaide Olympic, and they happen to be all in that same passage of play.
And for the time being, they're able to retain possession and maybe a bit more aggressive. Adelaide Atletico in the press now, since going 1-0 down. Kikianis getting forward a little bit now.
It's really interesting watching Ricardo da Silva's movement so far. We've seen him on the wing. At some stage, it looks like he's swapped with Salinas and come into like a right-back sort of position. Then he comes back in the middle as a number 10, which is where he's just gone now. And then we've just had Luis Lobo go back onto the wing after spending a little bit of time in the middle. So it's just something I really enjoy just seeing when players are given that freedom to play and, you know, that ability to show how dynamic they can be and open up these opportunities.
He really is finding a way to exploit that Adelaide Atletico defence and cause troubles for them. However, as nice little turn there from Lucic, may have been a bit nervy as he was shut down by Tetishi. They're happy in possession now. Here's Grelly. Ends up finding a bit of space to drive forward now. Does so. Katsambas was a target and looking to play a nice little 1-2 there with Nasu. Picked up by Tate.
I was just going to say, this is a really good crowd here tonight. I'm not sure how it compares in numbers compared to last week. Some of the vision that we saw against when they hosted Adelaide Croatia Raiders was pretty impressive. We saw the smoke bombs in the crowd as well, which was cool. I think they probably had a few more there, but it's impressive here for a Friday night. We got quite a few people all lining the pitch on behind our camera position here as well. I can see a few West Adelaide supporters supporting as well. They probably saw the Greek flags, and it's like the bat signal to attend.
I think they're here for the food as well.
They're here to give them some barbecue tips, I think.
Absolutely, yes. There's a loose pass here, and Olympic will look to come forward to Katsambas, and Alex Tate does very well to sweep up there. Any danger, and Kikianis does well to find Lobo off his head. Sliding in was Tatishi. And here is Ricky Da Silva. That was a nice little back pass. Dispossessed here, and Atletico will look to come forward this time. It's Rapiano who looks to find Francesca. Kikianis does well to hold up for the time being. I'll go the double now. Francesca does very well there in the end, but ends up being a goal kick for Adelaide Olympic.
It's really good work show there by Francesca. He played a really tight through ball, but then saw that Rapuano was in a little bit of strife, so came up to add a little bit of support, and then he was being pressed right into the corner as well, but just tried to keep it for as long as he could, just allowing some players to come up and support, but in the end didn't look like he was going to get out of that corner.
They certainly haven't gone in their shells as of yet, have Adelaide Atletico. The game's opened up a bit. Chances being created for both sides since that first goal did go in. And that one's Pablo Correa who wins a foul. A few words there for Ethan Nasu.
Cheeky little push after the challenge as well. Just to, I guess, show the stakes of tonight.
Well, stakes are everything when it comes to knockout football. We do have another knockout match in the HBG Homes State League 1 tomorrow at 5 o'clock, live from West Beach, where Fulham United will take on Adelaide Blue Eagles. And Adelaide Blue Eagles and Fulham also were playing to make finals on that final day. It did come down to Cumberland, Fulham, Blue Eagles. For the time being, the ball's floated over the top. And here come Adelaide Atletico this time, looking to find Kayatsa. Only gets as far, but they might be back in here. Adelaide Atletico. And big appeal for a penalty there. Was there a bit of a pullback? Referee Tom Brinkworth says no.
Yeah, he made the decision very quickly. Didn't even seem to. He needed a terrible lot of time to consider it. But Atletico got to be careful here not to get themselves in a little bit of strife, as Sebastian Rapuano argues his point.
Well, as we do go back to that final round, final series, Adelaide Atletico needed the one of Fulham, Blue Eagles or Cumberland to go down. Blue Eagles won and Fulham won, but it was Modbury Jets who were able to get up against Cumberland, doing Atletico a huge favour, which sees them here in this fixture tonight.
It's just exciting that it's anyone's game. We've had the situation over the last couple of years at the end of in the State League 1 Grand Final, when it's been, I don't want to say a dead rubber, because there's still a trophy to play for and the teams absolutely want to go for it, but we did know the outcome in terms of who was going to go up to State League 1. So, but given how tight that top six is this year, it does seem like could be anyone's game. It's certainly not set in stone that it's going to be Adelaide Croatia Raiders that make the finals, although they've given themselves a little bit of breathing room. But yeah, I think it's going to be really tightly contested.
Last year, West Adelaide joined Sturt in promotion from third spot where, as the ball's cut off here for Adelaide Olympic, and that's a good save by Lewis Cleland to deny Atletico. Time being, De Silva holds the ball up. Defenders really do flock to him when he gets the ball. Giannis does well to find Pudler and De Silva, and you can just see that chemistry, the chemistry between the Olympic players. They're all on the same page. Here's Kikianis. He'll be shut down by Rapuano as he takes a few nibbles at his ankle.
You're right about the chemistry between the Olympic players, but Adelaide Atletico have really just ramped up the intensity, and I think it's showing with how much they're attacking. Their output's just sky high at the moment.
It's definitely making this game a good watch for the time being. It's no one's overrun but kept in well there by Ethan Nasu. That's Rapuano who got his foot in to send it back. A bit of a lash clearance from Kikianis, doesn't exactly go too far. For the time being, has been cleared by Olympic. That one falls all the way through back to Ethan Allison. Kojim, whose pass was a bit loose, and that one's off the outside of the boot of Lucic, and it looks to find Kisambas through again. Kisambas already has one. Does well to get on his right boot straight at Tate, and he makes a solid save. And really quick intent, but that's a heavy touch there by Anthony Lanzotti, the substitute. But they're looking to attack quickly. Atletico, you can see the dynamic has really changed. Here is Shoshi Tatechi, and unable to conjure anything up there on that occasion to Atletico. So it's certainly going to be very interesting this last 10 or so minutes in this first half. If Atletico are able to grab something, it'll set us up for a huge last 45. If they don't, and Olympic are able to find the net and make it 2-0, you'd expect Olympic to most likely hold on. Got the drums behind us right now, Simon. We're just trying to work out what that was, but
yeah, I saw that look of confusion on your face. I think we might have been thought it might have been our camera woman upstairs doing some tap dancing or something, but they got the drums going for the occasion.
His driving forward is, that one's off the boot of Tatoshi. Donato Kayatsa to throw it in. The Japanese midfielder, Satoshi. Correa goes wide. Bit of space here in the middle for Atletico. Darginio elects not to turn and retreat. So they do look to build up, and Mitras goes in looking to win it, but that ball will roll back to Pablo Correa. Pablo Correa, the only player starting tonight for Adelaide Atletico who did play in their amateur side before they did merge with Adelaide Victory and become one and join the federation. There he is, Correa going down heavily. He has a free kick in a reasonably dangerous area that Olympic will be forced to defend.
Be interesting to see what they can create from here. I was just thinking, I really do think that Adelaide Olympic missed the chance to just turn things up a little bit following that first goal. They were really in control at that stage, but Adelaide Atletico were the team that responded by just lifting their intensity and just really pressing Adelaide Olympic hard and just making the spill balls and just showing a little bit of clumsiness that they didn't show within that first 15 minutes or so.
We did see Olympic score the first with their head. Are Atletico able to create something now? It's Kojim floats it in off the back post. And that falls to Rapuano. Just couldn't get the ball out of his feet, and he was probably blocked by his own attacker there. Kojim will get a second bite, and now Adelaide Olympic will look to break. Ricky De Silva doesn't look like he wants to drive forward too quickly.
It's a little bit of hesitation there from De Silva. You definitely get the feeling that he didn't back his own speed in that instance.
It's held up by Lanzotti. And now they'll look to switch the field of play. They don't on that occasion. Lujic just hoofs the ball long to take. It's Massimo Kayatsa. Goes wide to Ethan Allison, and he'll get it back. And Adelaide Olympic sitting back for the time being. They'll look to break the lines with that long ball. Again, Kayatsa there. One back well. And looking to get a cross in doesn't. It was off the boot of Grelly to prevent the ball going any further forward for Atletico. Still unable to clear the danger though. Our Olympic is a throw in on the near side.
Action's just been so constant since that first goal though.
That's a good throw to advantage by Kayatsa, and Damien Francisco will certainly wouldn't mind having that shot back again.
Just while we have finally got a little bit of a pause, want to take a moment to thank our partners. HBG Homes, official naming rights partner of the HBG Homes State League 1, as we tick over 38 minutes on the One World LED and Sportal System scoreboard for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions.
Okay. As we do continue to tick down this first half of this elimination final between the two sides. And it is Olympic leading 1-0. Still through the goal of Petticoat Sambus. Goes back to Cleland. Cleland will be shut down, and very confident there to go to Selenis. He almost had to go through the Atletico attacker. You can see the very verbal bench of Atletico. They've definitely lifted since going down 1-0. As they gain a bit more territory forward. This is a moment where a long throw in certainly handy.
Yeah, something like that might be the trick, because I still think there's just been a bit of a lack of that clear-cut opportunity. We've said it numerous times. There was a moment where Rapuano won the ball just with a little bit of traffic in front of him.
It does hit the chest of the man you were just talking about, Simon. Get a second go at it, though. Doesn't seem he has a massive throw-in, but it's accurate. That's all he needs. Is Donato Kayatsa is held up. That one's floated in. This time, Cleland vocal and happy to see that one through for a goal kick.
Yeah, just that one player waiting for it there in Hinata Kojim. And he just seemed well outsized in that instance. outsized and outnumbered.
Yeah, they'll look to play out. This time Cleland goes long and high. Touch is brought down well by Lobo. Shot down by Rapuano, and Rapuano's going to give it to the contest. Francesca leaps up over Daniel Kikianis, and Kikianis hits the floor pretty hard. Seems a bit sore off the end of that one. Chances have dried up recently for Adelaide Olympic though. But we do know it's their quality that they poise going forward.
Still from Adelaide Atletico though, even the ball seems to be spending most of their time in the attacking half. Just not that real clear opportunity. I think even that challenge may be a little bit clumsy from them. It didn't look like it was going to win that ball off the end of Rapuano.
De Silva was the target on that occasion. It's twice in a row Cleland's been forced long. So Adelaide Atletico certainly bringing them out of their comfort zone for the time being. But De Silva will happily win a foul and take a little bit of time out of the clock. Play is restarted. Cleveland, he might have a bit of extra time this time. Doesn't hit Kikianis. He's shot down, and they really are pressing it reasonably aggressively. Atletico. Cleveland hits wide. Touch brought down by Mitris. Really went back to him and then back to Lujic. Lujic might come our way. Look to target Selenis, and he does so. Selenis has space to drive forward. He'll be shot down by Darginio though. De Silva, nice little flick on. Leaping header by Kayatsa there. One's played back. Going to cause a few troubles here for Atletico or Olympic. There's Mitris, chested down. Going down quite heavily was Ethan Nasu. But Correa prevails forward early. And whistle's being blown by referee Tom Brinkworth. Didn't actually see what happened there.
Well, I think it was in response to, because Ethan Nasu's being called over from Tom Brinkworth now as well. I think Nasu did get a bit of a stiff forearm into his back in an earlier challenge, and I think once the ball had been played forward, he probably reacted there. So, again, even though he got the rough end of that bit of initial contact, now he's the one getting a talking to from Tom Brinkworth. So, it's going to be careful.
Just been keeping an eye on the play in the time being. There's a few hands being thrown. The tempers are certainly starting to boil in this elimination final matchup. So we do start to approach half-time very quickly. You just think if Atletico grabs something here.
They're really turning the tide, and even with the way that Olympic played out from the back last time, favouring the long ball instead of what they were doing in the first 15 minutes, which seemed to be working well. Yeah, it's just sort of showing that there.
Darginio goes wide to Kayatsa. Seeing he looked across. Is Francesca. Francesca dribbles through, goes down in the box. Brinkworth once again firm on his decision. Darginio again is shut down. Actually get. That one's going to flow all the way through to Cleveland, and he'll be in no rush to pick it up.
It's just saying in the build-up to that, just with the way that Adelaide Olympic, and they may change things up with how they play it out this time, just looks like they are just potentially running out of ideas. But again, they went for the long ball straight down the middle. I didn't feel like De Silva was ever really going to win that under that pressure from Kayatsa. And now, well, momentarily, it was Atletico on the break, but Olympic have it back now.
It's almost like they're just trying to get through to half-time. Nasu goes down really heavily there, and Brinkworth says no, and the shot's off by Correa, and that didn't really cause any threat to Lewis Cleland. The young man in goals for Olympic, and that's put out of play while Nasu is on the floor.
It was interesting. Tom Brinkworth didn't even give him much of a second look, even when the ball went back in their defensive half. I feel there may have been a little bit of a delayed reaction in that.
Yeah, well, the little altercation they had before probably didn't do him any favours. This ball is given back to Adelaide Olympic. That is 45 minutes gone on the One World LED and Sportal scoreboard. We are now going into stoppage time in this HPG Homes State League 1 elimination final. Very vocal are the young juniors in the crowd, and in the meantime, Adelaide Atletico drive forward. Rapuano's on the right. Held up, shots on the left foot. Cleveland saves. And coming in there to save it was Harry Selenis. So Atletico couldn't cause any more danger. That one's thrown in quick. Starginho. Held up, might try to win a corner. Doesn't, it's cleared long. And De Silva, once again, very isolated up forward, but he'll look to create his magic. Dispossessed, here is Tashishini. Played back, and they are really showing a real threat going forward to Atletico, and referee blows his whistle.
You said it there, De Silva was just looking really isolated. It was interesting that he just decided to turn around and just run straight into the defending player there. And so using the width so well early on and playing it out from the back and just trying to stretch Adelaide Atletico wide. And just since it's been Adelaide Atletico more dominating things, it just seems like they have gone away from that, even when they do get the opportunity to play it out from the back. And even now, looks like they're just pushing the players forward.
Not too sure how long we do have left in the first half. I'm excited to watch that first 10 minutes play out in the second half, as that's off the head of De Silva through to Tate. And we have seen him want to get on with play quickly in this first half. And that's a really good touch there from Donato Kayatsa. Nice ball off the outside of his boot. Swing through again. And that is half-time here at L3 Football Stadium between Adelaide Atletico and Adelaide Olympic. It is the home side leading 1-0 through Peter Katsambis. And it's certainly going to be a real action-packed 45 minutes for their second half. I'll swing over to Simon as he has a few words to say.
Yes, Football Fives is coming up very soon. If you haven't got any skills, no worries. That's the beauty of this. If you've got no time to train, there's no need. Five-a-side soccer is a smaller field, smaller goals, and quick 20-minute halves with unlimited subs, so it's great for all fitness levels. Perfect for friends, family, and kids. Fast, fun football. So everyone, you can spend your summer nights under lights. Proudly powered by 5AA, always Adelaide. Registrations are open at footballsa.com.au. Plus, a reminder that applications are open for the Football SA Variety Football Scholarship Program, delivered in partnership with Variety SA. Round 1 applications close on the 30th September. Learn more at the Football South Australia website.
Yes, I did receive a message from you Tuesday afternoon, Simon, to join your side in the Football Fives SA down at Jeps Cross.
Are you putting everyone on notice?
There you go. But in the meantime, we're going to have a quick break, and we'll join you on the other side for the second half of this HPG Home State League 1 elimination final.
First touches, first goals, first big moments. This is where football comes back to being football. Fast, technical, unpredictable, and always fun. Football Fives is built for players who still love the game, but play it their way. More touches, more movement, more moments that actually matter. Whether you're fitness, chasing wins, or just chasing that feeling of playing again, this is where your game fits. Different divisions, different levels, one shared love of football. Football Fives, football that works around life, not the other way around.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build, or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability, and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price, turnkey. It's gotta be HPG. HPG Homes.
Introducing Carl's Jr. Star Boxes for taste and value that's out of this world. Choose a tasty ranch, original, Santa Fe or barbecue double cheeseburger and grab a small fries, all for only $6.95. Carl's Jr. Eat like you mean it.
At Service FM, we know every workplace is different. Every challenge is unique. That's why we personalise our services to our customers' different needs across different industries. From medical to mining and manufacturing, hospitality to healthcare, commercial to defence. So when you need to create a better work environment, you need Service FM. Proud partner with Football South Australia.
Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. Fixed price turnkey. It's gotta be HPG.
I just want to make an impact.
Hop in.
Where are we going?
There are so many career paths with SAPOL, from operations to CSI. Hello. You can walk the beat or work somewhere a little quieter. If you want to make a difference, there's a career at SAPOL for you.
Hey, it's going to be all right.
Call up the search.
Find where you belong in blue. Search SAPOL Careers.
We are unbelievably proud to announce today a partnership with Variety, the children's charity, which will result in a scholarship fund for children within the state who are in need of help to participate in the game. The total amount of the fund is going to be $100,000, which is a significant amount, but it's going to support young children access football in the state.
One of the many trademarks that Variety has really is about inclusion and joy and community. And this scholarship partnership speaks to all of that. It allows children to be involved. It allows children from a community program to be involved across all communities. And above all, will provide them with a great sense of joy.
There'll be 3 tiers of scholarships. One of those is a participation scholarship up to $2,000. There will be 2 grants provided for pathway program players up to $5,000, and Tier 3 will be an inclusion scholarship between $500 and $1,000 to support young kids under the age of 18 whose families need support to access the game. We think it's a really important project that we've been working on for a period of time. Variety are an amazing charity. They provide so much support to the local community. The partnership's been made with Variety and Football South Australia contributing equally to the fund to the tune of a total amount of $100,000. We think it's an exciting development for the game in the state, and it's with great pride that we announce that today.
Hits it, and what a hit it is, and that makes it 4-1. He unleashes with his left. But he's through on goal, he's struck it to the far side, and Olympic have broken the deadlock. It's Milton Park, threads it through, Satira's there, he's got a first chance at it, blocked, second chance at it, great stop there by Oxenham, it's broken to Molas, and that's a fine goal to open the scoring for Arby Molas. Now, just outside the box, faces Van der Hout, he's on his left, swings the shot in, oh that's a cracker, Hassia John scores a banger.
Got an injury on the weekend? Our walk-in sports injury clinic is open Saturdays and Sundays to support you. Located ground floor, Calvary Adelaide Hospital, Wakefield Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic is keeping you moving.
I love refereeing because it's a challenge, to go out to try and get the right decision, manage some of the egos or the personalities, knowing that you've got all these different types of people at play. And it's actually been a good life school as well. I started refereeing junior games on a Sunday. I was playing in senior football on the Saturday, so I felt like making some money. I think I was a decent player back then. I could have stayed around and played senior football in NPL, but I decided to go refereeing, and I've got in the National League much quicker than if I was as a player. Probably wouldn't have made it as a player, to be honest. Just kind of never looked back and was happy to progress. But I think people should try refereeing. I think it's a great tool to realise how you can also contribute to part of the game. There's pathways. Definitely it can be a rewarding career.
Adelaide wakes up with 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings. Tom Wren for sport. Jay Drobran on the scene as it happens. Jess Adamson with the news that matters to Adelaide. Breakfast with David and Will, bringing together the names you trust with everything you need to know to start your day. Always live, always local, and only on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
For over 25 years, HPG Homes have been helping South Australians build and own their dream home. Whether it's a house and land package, custom build or development, our HPG fixed price guarantee ensures no nasty surprises or price changes along the way. We're committed to quality, affordability and creating a way of life for you and your family. Fixed price turnkey. It's gotta be HPG.
Football SA's Football Fives starts soon. No skills, no worries, no time to train, no need. Five-a-side soccer has a smaller field, smaller goals, quick 20-minute halves and unlimited subs, so it's great for all fitness levels. Perfect for friends, families and kids. It's fast, fun football for everyone, so spend your summer nights under lights. Proudly powered by 5AA, Always Adelaide. Registrations are now open at footballsa.com.au/Football Fives. And a reminder too that applications are now open for the Football SA Variety Football Scholarship Program, delivered in partnership with Variety SA. Round 1 applications close on the 30th September 2026. To learn more or apply, visit the Football South Australia website.
Both sides making their way back onto the field of play here at L3 Football Stadium. It's Adelaide Olympic currently leading Adelaide Atletico 1-0 through a Peter Katsambas goal in the 24th minute. It was the home side looking very dominant really early on, up until they went 1-0 up, Simon, where the travelling side in Atletico, they flipped the switch and played a whole different brand of football. And since then, you could argue maybe they looked the better of the two sides.
Yeah, I definitely thought that following that goal, it was Adelaide Atletico that looked a little bit more convincing. Still really not, well, they haven't converted to any goals on the scoreboard yet, but even just the convincing shots are a little bit lacking. But, I really thought it was going to be a moment where Adelaide Olympic were going to respond and just try to really put them under pressure. After scoring that goal, they were definitely in control up until that point. But, yeah, it was interesting. It was almost like a flick switched and Adelaide Atletico woke up and just maybe the concentration tended to lack a little bit from Adelaide Olympic. But I don't think they're going to come out for this second half the same way. I think they'd grapple back control of this game a little bit after that first whistle.
I do suspect, despite being 1-0 up, they will come out and look to take full control of the game as they did for that first 25 or so minutes in the first half. In the meantime, it will be Ricky De Silva and Ethan Nasu to start us off, and instantly Silva had his sights going forward. As the ball played back to Lewis Cleland, he had a very quiet start to the first half and he was forced into a few good saves.
We saw just off the kickoff when Adelaide Olympic went back and a sprint from Sosi Tateishi to hunt down Cleland and just make him feel a little bit of pressure early. So I think that's, sort of indicative of how they sort of turned the tide in that first half, to be honest, Atletico.
And here we go, maybe a few nervy moments there between the captain and the goalkeeper. Lewis Cleland, just 20 years of age. He's been over in England, had a short stint with Burton Albion, actually. Prior to that, he was at West Adelaide playing second fiddle to their captain, Jackson O'Donnell. He did get a few opportunities while he was at West Adelaide to put his name on the map and granted a full-time contract at Burton Albion. And since then has returned back home and he's fit straight into that number one goalkeeping spot at Adelaide Olympic.
Yeah, we was put under a little bit of pressure there. As you mentioned, we saw it was Tateishi initially, and that time it was Damien Francesca that just took a beeline into that opposition 18-yard box, and again, just trying to keep them under pressure.
I think this first 10 minutes, we're certainly going to see Atletico be really aggressive as we did towards the back end of that first half. Yeah, they'll come forward through Darginio as that one's off the head. As the two number 6s go to battle. Brinkworth happy to let that one roll. And here come Olympic in attack now through the goal scorer Katsambas, but he retreats all the way back to his captain, but he'll create something going forward. Goes wide to Harry Selenis. Nasu. He's going to bring it all the way back to this side to Perry Mitras. And they really have gone full throttle to start off this second half, have Adelaide Atletico.
But again, Adelaide Olympic have just defaulted in that instance to playing that long ball. Again, they were really controlling things in the first 15 with playing it out from the back a little bit more gradually and using that width, and especially the way that Adelaide Atletico are really pressing them hard. I imagine that just inviting that a little bit and opening up some spaces in between, might be the sort of thing that they need to look to do.
And not only the first 15 or so minutes, the all year they've played like it, and that's why they've been so successful. They've been so composed on that ball. They're happy to build up and force the other team into frustration, and that's where they can pounce and find the net. And they have been quite clinical in front of goal, scoring 42 as well. And there's Katsambas, goes to De Silva, who's playing up top at the moment. Nasu, just a bit out of reach. He's able to hold up, but he will go 1-1. Ball's played in, floated in by Mitras, dealt with by Allison. And now Atletico have a bit of space forward. In fact, this could be quite dangerous. Coming forward, but it's going to go all the way back to Kojim, and Kojim takes a very heavy touch forward and took all the sting out of that momentum there for Atletico.
Now it looks like Olympic are just using that width a little bit more. They did it a moment ago as well, and all of a sudden put a little bit of pressure going forward. So now again, they're just trying to stretch the limits of this pitch and just using the whole width. It's not, I don't have any official measurements here, but as we came in, I think I made the comment to you off air as well. It doesn't seem like the biggest main pitch here, but yeah, we saw early on it was something that got the advantage for Olympic early when they did use the whole lot of it.
I did see them go 1-0 up, where the whole tempo did change from that moment on. Be interesting to see if they do elect to make any changes. We did say their top goal scorer in Ali Akil, who scored 12 goals this season for Olympic, was unwell, however, is still on the bench, so we may see a feature. They've also brought in Lucas Botsos, who's their top goal scorer in the reserves, and he'd scored 21 goals in 17 games for the reserves. Has featured a few times for the first team, still yet to break his deadlock there. And there's Tate played off, and that's a nice little flick on off the outside of the boot, but this time intervened by Olympic, and here's Selenis on that right side, puts it in. And that goes as far as Massimo Kayatsa out for a corner for Adelaide Olympic.
On the topic of the personnel for Adelaide Olympic, we credited a couple of the players early on that were being quite dynamic and switching positions. That was De Silva. I think we're talking about Luis Lobo as well, the one change that came on for Ali Aquil. But I think since we did say that at the start of the first half, they've been a little bit quiet. Just the guys playing up the front for Olympic just struggling to be effective.
I haven't seen too many corners tonight, going off memory, but this one's going to be crossed in off the left boot of Peter Katsambis. Brinkworth having to intervene for the moment being. The in-swinger is going to be over at the back post, and the header was met by Ethan Nasu. But clearly the danger, and Tate will get us restarted quickly through Allison as Atletico will play out, bring themselves forward. And once again, maybe a bit of a height difference there for Soshi Tatishi. And here he is on the ball now. Gets past, still going. And there will be a foul on him. Lewis Cleveland not too happy. A few words there for the Japanese attacker.
You mentioned the height disparity just going in the lead up to that, but somehow the much smaller player ended up getting the better off out of that little challenge.
There you go. It's probably the shortest player on the park when you look at in hindsight, but that is the captain down. Lujic playing now. They may look to play out. Atletico don't really want him to, and that's a lash pass. Cut out, and here's an opportunity, and quick off his line was Lewis Cleland. It was a 20-year-old Damien Francesco looking to pounce on that loose ball there. Off the header, Allison, and Nasu looking to header off to the advantage of De Silva. Correa plays Darginio. Kayatsa is held up with Bakikianis, and here's an opportunity for Atletico. Here's Rapuano, nice little turn, looking to get onto his right boot, doesn't. And going down quite heavily, maybe a bit of a late challenge there from Hinata Kojim. And it was the assistant referee who had his flag up really quickly. And that will be the first yellow card of the evening. Going the way of Hinata Kojim. And it's Peter Katsambis on the end of that challenge. So the pressure's certainly starting to lift here in this second half as they're coming in, flying in for challenges as well. That's the second foul in maybe about a minute or so in that defensive corner area for Olympic.
It was interesting just to hear the two benches' response in that instance though as well, because from Adelaide Atletico, they're being quite vocal, just trying to keep a high level of intensity, and Adelaide Olympic, the response was exactly the opposite. They were just calling for a little bit of calm. So, and they're still doing that. So, looking very different in the approach at the moment. But, yeah, despite Adelaide Atletico's extra output, they just haven't been rewarded. And, again, I keep revisiting this about every 10 minutes or so, just lack of clear-cut opportunities.
It'd be a real dagger to the heart if Olympic were to go 2-0 up, and you might lose that momentum by Atletico. And here they are coming forward again as we speak, and Mitras goes in quite heavily. Tatishi and Going forward was Kayatsa. There's Correa. Goes all the wide to Donato Kayatsa. He's held up on his right boot now. He felt a little bit of a tussle, doesn't elect to shoot. And here's an opportunity for Atletico off the left boot and comfortably held there by Lewis Cleland. That was Hinata Kojim on that occasion, looking to unleash.
Could have been a little bit more decisive a little bit earlier in that instance. Kojim was calling it for quite a long time. Had he had the ball placed there, he would have been able to launch it straight away, but had to eventually take another touch, and he just allowed the Olympic defence to compose themselves a little bit there. Apologies for interrupting.
Never. Always happy to listen to your words, Simon. And here's Correa driving forward in the meantime. Darginho goes wide. Nice little turn there. Donato Kayatsa going down quite heavily where a few bodies. And Nasu comes out, finds De Silva. Now one's fled forward and intervened there by Massimo Kayatsa. But it's Nasu. Back to Ricky De Silva. And as Grelly goes wide, he's going to get that overlapping run there by Selenis as the ball's in. And eagerly waiting by himself was Ricky De Silva. Didn't get past Ethan Allison as this one's sent long, and the target's going to be Soshi Tachishi. He gets on the outer side of Kikianis to switch it to the captain in Rapuano. Rapuano looks across, does shoot, saved by Lewis Cleland, and that turns out to be a fantastic save by the young goalkeeper in the end. Thought he may have cut it back, looking for a tap into the back post, but as a shot, and Cleland was forced to make a fantastic save.
Almost came out of nowhere in that instance, and it was a pretty good shot. Obviously, it was from a long way out, and the angle was quickly tightening up, but keeper forced into action there. Looking initially like there was just a bit of a lack of personnel in the middle for Adelaide Atletico, so I thought they were going to run out of options, but
ball's crossed in. It's off the head of the Olympic defender out, and a bit of a lash pass by Darginho, but Atletico will still be able to retain possession. They're going to have to switch to the other side though. Going forward, there's Lanzotti, and his target not dealt with properly by Mitras. It's going to come back. Allison driving forward, looking to get through, and here is a chance. It was Tatishi who once again got the shot off and met by Lewis Cleland.
Well, I'm going to change my tune now because I said before I've been saying just a lack of clear opportunities created by Atletico, but that's changed over the last few minutes. Finally, they're getting rewarded for their efforts a little bit, and if they can just keep this momentum and control they've got at the moment, you do feel that that equaliser's coming.
Boy, would we love to see that. And certainly silence the home crowd. They've been quite vocal, have the crowd, young and old. Going up was De Silva and Allison. They're able to let that one through to Tate, who sends long, does the experienced goalkeeper. It's flicked on. And as far as Lujic. Goes wide to Selenis.
You mentioned the crowd before. I wish I could repeat the chant that they were saying. I won't do that on camera, but it wasn't overly original, but it seemed effective.
They certainly, the young ones know better. They don't know better. Here's Ethan Allison. Held up. Here's the centre back. And intervene there. That one falls to the boot. And Rapuano looks to get on, and he's dispossessed. He was quickly shut down by two Olympic defenders, and now De Silva once again finds himself forward all alone. In fact, he's now found himself in their defensive half with the ball. Now looks to come out through Mitras and Puddler. Puddler, a bit of a risky pass, and Kikianis had to trust his boot there. Back to his goalkeeper. Mitras and Kojim go at it. It's going to be Atletico throw in. I do suspect Atletico may have a bit of troubles retrieving this ball. Anthony Lanzotti to take. Did come on very early in that first half. Being called into action. Mitras goes straight through. Had shout there from Tate, but not on the same page as Darginho. Dagino. In the air, Rapuano goes at it. Both captains again, that battle. Here's Tatishi. Shot down. That's loose, and that one falls out to Darginio. Looking for a flick on, and Kikiana's happy just to send it long, and Silva's going to go at it with the two centre-backs, and the header cannot find the advantage of Katsambas, but Tate happy to let it run through for a goal kick. That's 60 minutes gone on the 1 Meld LED and Sportal scoreboard. It is Olympic leading 1-0.
Of course, we thank our partner as well, HBG Homes, official naming rights partner of the HBG Homes State League 1.
And it's Adelaide Atletico who's taking a bit of control, and coming forward is Donato Kayatsa. Retreat through Kojim. Correa goes wide to Lanzotti. Doesn't opt to cross this time. Correa making that run, overlapping, and as Darginio. Coming forward was Massimo Kayatsa, looking to break the lines there, but doesn't. That one's in the air and headed back through Nasu. And Tom Brinkworth does blow the whistle. Just over an hour gone in this matchup. Neither team yet to look to their bench tactically. We did see Atletico make a change very early, forcefully.
Just looking at last week, Atletico made their changes a little bit later. Their first double came in the 72nd minute, and they made 5 changes all up, the latter coming in the 79th and the 84th, whereas Olympic, they made 2 in the 65th minute. So I'd imagine they're probably going to be the first to do it. So with that, I think that this is just going to be a really key time for Adelaide Atletico. If they've got a real good chance to score, I think it's going to be in this next couple of minutes.
In the meantime, Ethan Nasu's taken off, and Nasu, good save by Tate, and he does very well on the recovery as well. Sorry to cut you off there, Simon, but very nervy moment there from Pablo Correa as he was dispossessed by the young midfielder, and he found himself through on goal. And that's the first real chance that Adelaide Olympic have had in this second half, and it's almost been gifted to him.
Yeah, well, we're just talking about how Adelaide Atletico need to do the damage, but could you imagine if Olympic made it 2 in that instance, very much against the run of play, just how it really could have just, maybe just put this game beyond Adelaide Atletico. They've just been struggling to get real opportunities, aside from the last 5 minutes or so to get shots on goal, but 2 just seems like it would be a bit of a mountain to climb, but they get away with it.
Here we go, it's Atletico on the touch down very well by Tatishi, and waiting at the back post, and that was Harry Selenis who was able to get the nervy flick on out of harm's way. It will be pressed though, our Olympic, and maybe a bit of a foul there. That would be frustrating. Foul to commit for Atletico as the momentum did swing Olympic's way for a moment, but they were straight back on the other side on attack.
Well, I think that was probably just as nervy a moment at the other end of the pitch. I really thought that Adelaide Atletico were going to be on in that moment, if not for that last-minute touch.
And now here they are coming forward again. It's Rapuano. Goes to Tatishi. He's got 2 on him once again. And they're going to come back, though, and that one's a loose pass. And once again, Nasu on the end of an Atletico mistake. Lobo looking to use his skill set to get past. Does well to win a throw-in in that case.
Still no sign of any subs yet. Right on cue, it does seem like Olympic are maybe having that conversation now, the bench amongst themselves.
They certainly do need to change the game, because you almost think in a game as big as this, if with Atletico banging at the door, you think something may come for them. They haven't got the home crowd behind them, have Atletico, but they've certainly got the momentum. No one's airborne, and De Silva touches it down, but he goes down pretty heavily. Katsambas overruns it, and coming through quickly was Jordan Pudler. Pudler will be held up by Allison. Crossed in on his right boot. That one's dealt with. Corelli's going to be quick to it. Lunging in was Correa, and he was first too. And now Atletico look to break. They have space going forward. Nice little nutmeg. And the whistle is being blown, and Tom Brinkworth's going to have a chat. No, Tom Reefworth is going to address Ethan Allison, who is down in a bit of discomfort for the time being. He's back up to his feet, bit of a strong limp for the time being. And Pablo Correa is also down, not Pablo Correa. I think that's Donato Kayatsa, also down.
Almost looked like Kayatsa was getting a little bit of attention from Luic there. He was looking at his face, maybe a bit of a knock on his face there, possibly. The trainer has gone on now to have a look. You mentioned the crowd just in the lead up to this. Adelaide Atletico haven't got the benefit of a home crowd, but the home crowd, to be perfectly honest, hasn't been all too vocal since half-time. We saw them getting up and about towards the end of the first half, but they've gone a little bit silent now. But to their point of view, I don't think they've had a lot of fight to winners from Adelaide Olympic. You know, they had that almost chance as a result of a loose ball, but not a lot created by the home side. Fair to say, I think.
Most certainly, they really are absorbing a lot of pressure here in this second half, and say for a majority, Katz has actually got a lot of blood coming from his mouth, as we can see right in front of us. I think it might be his nose, actually.
Trainer's called for a change, but I don't think they've quite made that decision yet. I think they might just give him a quick little clean up, but if it is a nose, it'll be all dependent on how quickly they can stop that.
Shove the tissue down. It's the old classic trick, as Atletico restart.
Stem the flow.
It's all right. Here comes Ethan Allison now. He looks to be moving a bit more swiftly now. Once again, Atletico playing with 10 men for the time being.
One of the trainers has gone down to have a chat to the players warming up, so maybe that change will be coming. No, looks like they've done some plumbing on him.
Looking for Rapuano over the top. Brought down by Puddler. Here's that man De Silva looking so composed, but not on this occasion. It's Kojim. Had some space, turned back out, looking to come forward. His target wide was Anzotti, and that one's overrun by Ethan Allison, and he's got a bit of recovering to do. As De Silva drives forward, he was probably fouled, but the advantage was taken by Atletico, and here's Luis Lobo on the far side. Lobo drives forward at Darginho, doesn't shoot, gets onto his left foot, looks to curl it into the top corner, and it probably looked a bit closer from my angle than it did. It really was, but that's an attacking sign for Adelaide Olympic, and they've been few and far between in the second half, hasn't they?
And I think the bit that probably looked hopeful there was just the fact that they had a little bit of space running forward and they were a little bit more spread out. On the contrary, just a couple of moments before that, when Adelaide Atletico were attacking, just looked like a bit of a lack of movement. Some of the strikers were just sitting behind defenders from Olympic, and you were just thinking the build-up, there's no way that they're going to find space between them. They just need to show a little bit more movement, and for that reason, it looks like we are going to see some changes now. I wonder if that'll be one of the things that Adelaide Atletico are going to look to address.
This ball sent over the top, and maybe some miscommunications there. Tate, the artificial bounce gets the better of him, and it's fallen to Ricky De Silva, and De Silva's unable to capitalise. A little sliding challenge by Allison, and it's a penalty to Adelaide Olympic. Ethan Nusu hits the ground hard, and Olympic are going to have an opportunity from 12 yards to make it 2-0 and potentially put this game to bed. Against the run of players, we're saying, Simon, we said they hadn't created much.
Well, we mentioned that the Adelaide Olympic bench were calling for a little bit of calm, and in that instance, it was a little bit of chaos at the back for Adelaide Olympic. They weren't able to deal with it. It was a sliding challenge that, it was going to give away the penalty. Maybe if they just had sat on it, sat back a little bit more, just slowed that play and just stifled that opportunity, gave a bit of time for players to come back, gave a little bit of time for the keeper to recompose, they wouldn't have been looking down the barrel of this penalty, but here they are. Chance for Olympic to make it 2-0.
It's going to be Jordan Puddler. The crowd drops silent. And Puddler has an opportunity to potentially put one foot into the next round of this HBG Home State League 1 final series. Standing in his way, though, Alex Tate between the sticks, and Atletico have made a change in the meantime, but I'm sure all eyes are focused on Jordan Pudler.
I think that may...
As whistle is blown, Pudler steps in, Tate saves, straight back, it's going to fall, and Jordan Pudler on the follow-up. It's 2-0, but there's whistles blown. They've mistaken it for the crowd, and Adelaide Olympic are 2-0 up. It was rather scrappy penalty. Tate held his ground. He made the save, but it fell straight back to the foot of Jordan Pudler.
May have been scrappy, but they got the job done, and that's all that matters. 70th minute now, and there's just been a lack of much shown by Olympic, to be honest, for maybe the last 50 minutes or so, but they make it count. 2-0, and again, despite Atletico just supplying that pressure, they've been unable to find the back of the net. And as I see you scramble to find the player that's just come on from Adelaide Atletico, I think it just has been a kit change.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think the kit was a little bit too bloody, so I think rather than a substitution, it's just been a kit change for the player that just came off a moment ago with the blood nose.
There you go. So it was Massimo Cazzo, I believe, who's back onto the field of play, and they were playing with 10 men, but yeah, attacking intent and energy still there from Atletico, while the odds are probably stacked against them a lot more than they were earlier on. If they're able to grab something back right now.
Now it looks like they are able, they will be making a double change in a moment though. Adelaide Atletico, Matthew Mayo and Isaac Martini look to be the two players getting ready to come on.
That one's floated up. Going up is Kikianos, who leaps the highest for Olympic. High boot from Lobo. And then it's Grelly, who's able to go and find Selenis, but he's going to be shut down quickly, and they may have an opportunity to box him in here, as there's a throw in for Olympic in their defensive third. Matthew Mayo coming on. 21 games this season in HPG Homes State League 1, where he has a return of 6 goals, so he'd be hoping for some more of that tonight.
And it looks like he came on at the 72nd minute mark last week too, so again, just similar timing.
Someone's cleared. Coming forward and instantly is Toteshi.
Just trying to get some clarification on the other change. It was number 20, Isaac Martini, was it, for Adelaide Atletico?
Yes, it was Isaac Martini. I can see him up there. Not sure who's come on for. Still waiting for confirmation. But in the meantime, it's a corner for. That one's floated in. Back post. Allison leaps. It's there through everyone. Falls to Martini. He's held back, and referee doesn't blow anything. That one's crossed it back into the back post. It's Rapiano, and he's found the top left corner. Sebastian Rapiano, and it's 2-1, and we're back on here at L3 Football Stadium. He's just glided that one straight into the top corner. I may have my words a bit jumbled. But plenty of scenes going on, and we are back on here in this HPG Home State League 1 elimination final.
Well, I think Adelaide Atletico had Adelaide Olympic just a little bit jumbled there. We've been waiting for over 70 minutes for them to do something, just to convert all that control into actually getting one on the board. But Olympic, just when we thought they may stitch it up by getting their second, Adelaide Atletico respond, and all of a sudden it's just game on again. Couple new sets of fresh legs on for Adelaide Olympic now too. I don't think we've seen any changes yet couple new sets of legs for Adelaide Atletico. I don't think we've seen any changes for Olympic, so.
And the tempo absolutely flares, but Sebastian Raffiano, the captain, the inaugural captain of Adelaide Atletico, has his side back in this game, and that's his 4th goal of the year. This ball goes back to Allison. Over the top, and Lucic happy to let it run. Mayo now has fresh legs, so we might see a bit of aggressive press from him. And as the game will calm for a moment, Kikianis very composed. It's the young centre-back, plays back to his keeper. Cleland happy to send long. It goes as far as Correa. D'Argenio. Was sent long and out for a goal kick, and they'll certainly be happy with that. Adelaide Olympic, they now have a moment to breathe. We did think maybe once Puddler made it 2-0, we thought that Atletico may drop off and it was going to be a real hill to climb, Simon, but moments later, 2-1, and we're back to square one almost.
Well, funnily enough, it was after that first goal that Atletico conceded in that first half was when they seemed to turn the tide of the game, and Olympic just sort of let their foot off the gas a little bit. And again, in this instance, it seems that they've just found another gear following that, but in that instance they've been rewarded with a goal, but still that one to hunt down, and of course they need to get a result here tonight as well, so it will go into extra time if we need to.
I certainly wouldn't mind an extra half an hour of this quality of football. It's going to be Lanzotti on the throw-in, and you can just see the body language of the Atletico players. They're absolutely buzzing right now, and they are living in this moment. And Allison was unable to find the substitute in Isaac Martini. So it did look like two attacking subs for Atletico.
And I believe we may see a sub coming from Olympic in just a moment. The bench did momentarily look over to the fourth official. And they've called back one of the bench players now from warm-up.
Cleland sends long and pulls up in the contest. Rapuano and Nasu go at it. Eventually header one there by D'Argenio. Referee calls for a foul in the middle of the park. Going the way of Atletico. Silva Cosley strolls through as they look to throw in. Mayo goes wide. Trying for is Matt Mayo. He looked across. I know to bring it down. Does end up getting it on his left boot. And some very silky skills there. Kayata crosses. Rapuano waiting. Fell to him. This one floats in the air. Unable to cause any issues to Lewis Cleland as he watches that one glide over the top of his crossbar.
Again, I think probably could have played that quicker a little bit in that instance, Atletico, and really created a bit of a challenge. And just to revisit that bench situation, looks like it's just going to be a single change for Olympic. Maybe a little bit surprised that at this late stage that they've only gone the one, but are they potentially gearing up for extra time, maybe?
Or are they backing their starting 11 that they went with? Here's Martini. Maybe a bit of a miss kick, but it did well to find Tatishi. Tatishi drives forward. Kikianis uses his strength very well in the end, and Rapuano goes down. Brinkworth has a think. Elects not to go with the penalty. Real shouts there from Atletico, and in the time being, Rapuano still on the ground. Gets a bit of pat in the head by Rashko Lujic, and our temper's really starting to flare.
That's the biggest appeal that we've seen so far, and Rapuano's still on the ground, and there's a little bit of chatter between the fourth official and the Atletico bench, but meanwhile, Olympic are focusing on that this change that they're about to make.
They're going to bring on some absolute experience, aren't they, Simon?
That's it. Jared Brazzali's going to be the one to come on. Not sure who it will be yet to make way.
It's Ethan Nasu, and he's told to hurry up by Dennis Pelisoj. Onto the field of players, Jared Brazzali. And if you can hear when we go quiet, there's plenty of noise coming from both benches. And that Atletico bench is going. And Martini, maybe a bit of an elbow. It's a free kick going the way of Olympic, and they'll have a bit of a moment to breathe.
Yeah, they're getting quite frustrated now, the Adelaide Atletico bench, and fourth official's just gone to have a quick chat to the bench players. He's assuring him he's got it under control, but just real desperation from at the moment. They've only got just over 10 minutes to try and find that second equaliser and give themselves the best chance to win this, potentially in extra time.
When you do say 10 minutes, I dare say there may be quite a bit of stoppage time in the last 10 minutes. I think we might see a little bit of stoppage as well. And coming forward is Rapuano. He's going to be shut down by 3 Olympic defenders and goes down rather heavily. Kikianis was the other one on the ground, but he's back up and about. No one's out for a throw-in just in front of us.
Rapuano basically ran into a brick wall on that occasion. I think he might be feeling the after effects of that earlier collision as well, potentially.
Mr. Silver and Allison go at it. It's off their head, and Allison's up very quickly. Kikianis coming through and wins a foul there. And he's not up here, and he goes straight at Rapuano, who's down, and he's met quickly by Lucas D'Agino. And now, little altercation there, and Ethan Allison in the middle of it. The player who did give the penalty away, and Adelaide Olympic will take a moment to breathe. You can see 2 of their more experienced players, in Perry Mitras and Puddler, have a bit of a chuckle and a chat.
It was interesting to see the reaction to that. It was just a little bit of posturing from both sides. John Brinkworth sort of walked away knowing that they were going to figure that out, but he's just having a quick chat to Rapuano and Luic at the moment. Just trying to make sure that things don't lose control in the last 10 minutes or so. Of course, we had that penalty shout. There was a challenge just after that, and then, of course, that little collision just there.
Cheekily, Perry Mitras has probably rolled the ball 4 or 5 metres to his advantage. Mitras sends direct. Allison's the one that's going to leap. He had the free header, falls to Kikianis at the top of the box. Kikianis just absolutely steamrolls through, and the ball's actually still in play there. Atletico still down, and driving forward is Kikianis. He looks to put it across the box and dealt with well out for a corner.
Saw a little bit of hesitation, and just in the lead up to that from Lucas D'Agino, just sort of sat off a little bit and divided the pressure from the Olympic player that he was marking and gave him enough space to create something. And after all that, they win the corner. And I mean, we said it when they went 2-0 up, it could have been a chance for them to put a nail in this game, but if they make it 3-1 at this late stage, it'll really put the pressure on Adelaide Atletico.
And look at this, Simon. If you've ever seen corner tactics the way we did see in the Premier League with Arsenal and how good they were, it looks quite similar. They've absolutely stacked that 6-yard box. They're going to make it very, very challenging for Alex Tate to read this delivery, and I have a strong suspicion it's going to be right on his head. Going to be crossed in. Ball is crossed in. It's dealt with though. Might get a second bite of the cherry. Kisama's happy to let it roll out for a throw in. We are definitely set for a big last 7 minutes here at L3 Football Stadium in this HPG Home State League 1 elimination final. Ball's up. Isaac Martini is met and is off the back heel of Grelly potentially, and Tate absolutely sprints to the top of his 18-yard box. Almost took off De Silva's head in the time being. Sent long, and it's going to be a foul from going the way of Olympic.
Still no further movement from the Olympic bench, so at this stage I wonder if we will see another change before 90. Seems a little bit quiet on the Atletico side as well, though.
Both sides happy to let the game play out as it does for the time being. Since the penalty shout of Rapuano, haven't really gone forward too much, have Atletico. Kikianis was actually a little bit forward. He had to sprint back to get back into position. And here's Puddler, the goal scorer. Puddler looks to get on the other side, gets on his right foot. Puddler looking to almost pass it into that far right corner. Meets Tate, and Tate sends long. Mayo goes at it with Solenis and unable to bring it down. That's Matt Mayo.
Well, it's taken almost the whole half to do it, but it looks now like Adelaide Olympic are starting to wrestle back control of this game a little bit. Maybe only for a moment.
That's Correa now. He's going to be shut down quickly by De Silva. He's forced to retreat. Back to Allison. As Correa comes forward, and you can just see that defensive shape holding real strong for Olympic. There's Darginio. Harry Mitchell does well in the ball, but does lose out in the end. And it's going to be a throw-in. Lanzotti looked to take it quickly, elected not to. That one, I reckon, is off the boot of Kikianis, and he's happy to throw the ball away until he gets back into position. Haven't seen Tatishi on the ball as much in this last 15 minutes. And another appeal for a penalty this time. That time for a handball. System referee probably had the best view out of all of us. They are going to swing everything, our Atletico. Here's Allison. He'll go forward. They've got all 11 players behind the ball, have Olympic. That was sent by Dargino. Kikianis down a bit, rather uncomfortable right now. Clinches his knee, maybe no, he's just happy to have a seat and have a break for the time being. Valuable seconds tick down as we further approach the 90 minutes. Lanzotti was then looking for a flick on. Martini didn't flick on with his head, actually used his boot. And that one's off the boot of Lucas Dargino.
Just about to tick over 87 minutes on the One World LED and Sportal Systems scoreboard for all your indoor and outdoor LED solutions. I imagine there's going to be a decent amount of time. We may see 5 or even a little bit more added on. We'll try listening to the 4th official and see if we can get that notification ahead of time.
Certainly be nice. Maybe give him a wave as well when it ticks down. Well, having a 4th official, they haven't actually got a board which indicates any time or substitutes being made.
He's got 10 fingers he can use.
That's right. I don't think we'll be any longer than 10 minutes. Thrown in by Lanzotti to the chest of Tatishi. On the boot of Mitchus. And you can maybe just see now Adelaide Atletico might be getting a little bit fatigued. Mitchus will soak up some moments. Told to hurry up by Brinkworth. And as we observe some movement potentially on the bench of Adelaide Olympic.
It's Stefan Matteo going back to the bench from the warm-up area, so he may make an appearance late.
Look at that turn from De Silva, and he finds Lobo, and Lobo couldn't skid his way through. Now Atletico, Kikianis comes lunging in pretty quickly. Does commit the foul. I dare say Allison will look to get things going quickly. Even Tate making amends for himself. Very, very high. Happy to take it forward. Almost at halfway is Alex Tate. Floats it long. Isaac Martini flicks it on. Mitchus was there waiting for a free header. And that one's just picked high as we tick in to the final minute of the 90 minutes here. Martini flicked on in his Correa on the outside of boot. Looking for Tatishi. We know he can create. Puts it right across the box. Opportunity. And it was the boot of Matthew Mayo. Just couldn't gather any momentum. Tom Brinkworth starts his 8-second count as Cleland took the ball to ground with him. Flicked on by De Silva. Alex Tate happy to take it back to his box. Bit more comfortable to send long out the hands. And that one's high and long. Kikianis puts his head over it. Correa composed to get past lunging, very, very lunging challenge there, and it falls to Ricky De Silva, and he's dispossessed by Ethan Allerton. Correa comes forward, Kikianis comes flying through everyone. That's off the boot, and it's out of play for a throw-in. Someone we may see a sub very soon, as we are now 90 minutes gone in this HBG Homes State League 1 elimination final.
Going to see 2, possibly even 3 subs as well. Olympic don't look quite ready to make theirs, but we've got 2 players getting ready to come on. It's Bahati Hidamana, and I haven't got the number of the other player in front of me at the moment, but I can tell you that it's Lanzotti that's come off the early substitution for tonight, and Ethan Allison.
And may have heard that potential 5 minutes of stoppage time here between the two sides. Ball's up in, and that one's just hoofed long by Joe Brazzali.
Yeah, I believe 5 minimum was what we just heard, so plenty of time for Adelaide Atletico to potentially get the equaliser, or for Olympic to get a final one just to put it out of reach. And we're going to have that change now for Adelaide Olympic. It's going to be, as we said earlier, Stefan Matteo that came on in the 72nd minute last week. A little bit of a late appearance this week, and going on for Lewis Lobo, that one change made by Adelaide Olympic going into tonight. We'll see him coming on for Ali Aquil, who doesn't look like he's going to make a late appearance today.
That one's in contest, and Martini flicks it on it at the head of Daniel Kikianis. He's been quite solid in defence for Olympic tonight. Goes down very heavily there. Forced to play at the feet, and driving forward is Darginho. Here's wide. Matt Mayo floats it in on that left boot, looking for the substitute. Yeah, and Luka Mazzullo wasn't able to lunge, and he'll happily retreat the ball for Lewis Cleland. Cleland probably won't be in a rush to take this.
I felt it a couple of times today that Adelaide Atletico have been missing a big number 9 at the front to convert. And in that instance, Isaac Martini, one of the subs, was in that area, but on that occasion just went over his head, and it's a bit out of reach for him.
One's over to everyone. And fouled is Massimo Carriaza. Ricky De Silva's happy to pick the ball up and take it as far back as he can, and he'll be rewarded with a yellow card for his antics. Tate's going to send long, and De Silva's probably not 10 metres back either. Puller's going to be first to go. And that goes through the leg of Kayatsa, and De Silva once again drives forward, and Grelly look to flick it on off the back heel of his boot. Here's the substitute, Mazzulu. And coming forward this time, Atletico. It's Mayo targeting. He probably wasn't expecting the ball there, was Mazzulu, but he does. Goes to Darginho. Out for a throw in, and you can see they're really pushing. Darginho throws in off the head of Puddler again. They're going to gain a bit of territory. Quickly taken off the hand. Not given there is the captain Rapuano and the goal scorer. Cleared out of harm's way, and they'll look to drive here. Kikianis has made that run inside Katsambas. Katsambas is in here. Could he put the game to bed? Katsambas gets one-on-one with Tate. Puts it across to Kikianis, and it's cleared off the line. And there's probably a handball shout. And it's another penalty for Adelaide Olympic. And I suspect, Simon, we may be seeing a straight red card for denial of goal scoring opportunity. And it's actually going to be a yellow card. Probably got a bit carried away there.
Yeah, because they have given away the penalty there, so I believe that's a ruling that's allowed that to be the yellow card rather than red. But yeah, it did seem pretty clear that handball there actually reached for it. It's been really interesting because at times during the second half I've criticised Adelaide Olympic for not showing too much urgency, but And at times looking at the bench, just seeing the call for calm, and this potentially will be 2 occasions off the back of penalties when it's been a little bit of a scramble for Adelaide Atletico. And as they look to make it 3-1 now, which should be enough.
Well, we've seen this before. Jordan Puddler v Alex Tate. This time, the next round of finals depends on this kick. It was Puddler last time who had his shot saved, however was able to convert the rebound. He shoots, take goes the right way, but Adelaide Olympic are going through to the next round of the HBG Home State League 1 final series. Jordan Puddler has his second for the night, and that is 3-1 on the One World LED and Sport or scoreboard. And a huge sigh of relief for the home side. It's been a brave fight, a very brave one by Adelaide Atletico. Whilst we may argue that they were the better side on the night, it's the experience and strength of Adelaide Olympic which will see them move through to the next round.
You'd suspect that it's all done and dusted here, but Adelaide Atletico are going to fight this right to the very end. There's 9 players all lined up on the halfway line, and it looks like they're just going to flood forward and try convert this.
And here we go, it's Tatishi drives forward, goes to Hitimana, and that's one by Puddler, but one back by the substitute. Lunging in there was De Silva, who had to be careful as he's on a yellow card. And that is full time here at L3 Football Stadium. It's Adelaide Olympic who prevail victorious against Adelaide Atletico. A very exciting night of football here. And the home side advanced to the next round.
Looks like Marco Grelli got the final whistle right in his ear there, which he wasn't initially happy about, but I'm sure once it's settled in that full time has been called and they've secured their passage through to the next round, then it'll probably make something that the ringing in his ears tomorrow will just be a bit of a reminder of. But what can we say? I think 3/4 of the game, really, Adelaide Atletico looked to be in control, but it was due to that initial goal that Adelaide Olympic got in that first portion. That just gave them enough to hold on to. Of course, when they won that penalty in the second half, that made it 2-0 momentarily. Adelaide Atletico, of course, did respond to that, but it was still going to be a bit too much. In that frantic moment going forward, that Adelaide Olympic just showed their composure while Adelaide Atletico were forced to react quite rashly. Gave away that second pen, and it wasn't going to hit the keeper in that instance the second time.
He tucked it very nicely into the bottom right corner. But it's Adelaide Olympic who I do believe they will take on second place side in Modbury Jets in a potential 2-legged tie. Correct me if I'm wrong, Simon.
Believe they have the number 1, actually.
The number 1, okay.
Yeah, as this is number 3 versus number 6. That's the case in no, you're right, sorry. It is number 2. Yeah, so Modbury Jets. Ignore me.
So there's still plenty of action in the HBG Homes State League 1, as tomorrow it will be Fulham United taking on Adelaide Blue Eagles in that 4v5 clash down at West Beach. There's action in the RAA NPLSA, in which I believe you're also involved in, Simon, between Croydon and Metro Stars.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Replay of their round 22 clash, and it's an interesting situation, that, because Metro Stars got the last win against them, but in the big games, Croydon seemed to have the edge, so that's going to be an exciting one. Of course, there's a double header at Service FM Stadium as well in the Apex Steel Women's National Premier League finals, and then the other one is the Apex Steel WMPL WSL promotion playoff. So Adelaide City representing the Women's State League, trying to get immediate promotion back into the top league after just one out, and Modbury Vista try to, for the first time, get a second year at that top level. So going to be a competitive one, but yeah, so much action, and certainly with those 3 games to check out at Service FM Stadium tomorrow, worth checking that out. And I'll give one final mention to Playford and FK Beergrad, of course. If you're a little bit closer to that game, then that's a good afternoon fixture to have a look at as well. I think 3 o'clock kickoff, but check your guides for that one.
You can just see the Adelaide Atletico team, they're fully embracing each other. You can see the disappointment and heartbreak in their body language and their face. But I'm sure they can walk out of this, they can bow out of this year and say that they're certainly proud of what they've done, and they'll look to push even further next year. It's Adelaide Olympic who have made their way into the change rooms, and I'm sure they will burst out the song with plenty of Greek flags as well in the mix. But it's Adelaide Olympic 3, Adelaide Atletico 1, as we will sign off here. I'm Anton Violi, and I was joined by Simon Jimenez, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.
See you later.